Stop wasting your time on self-help advice and practices that don't work. Here's your definitive guide to what works and what's really just trash. After coaching thousands of people in personal development and spending $200,000 on every coach, guru, course, content, YouTube that you can possibly imagine, I figured out what works and why it works, and here's your definitive list so you know what to focus on and what to not waste your time on. Let's go. Here on this list is every single top personal development practice and habit that you've probably ever heard of. And almost all the videos you watch or all the books you read really just come back to these 21 different things. And I'm going to be assessing all of them. Let's go. So there's 3 things I'm going to be assessing. Number 1, accessible. Is it cheap and simple to understand and do? Number 2, powerful. Does the results work and are the results powerful? Number 3, is it fast and does it work quickly? Let's go. 1 is digital detox. I'd put this in the valuable category because it really does give your brain a reset. It really does give you a break from life and allows you to see life in a bird's eye perspective. But I would say the main problem with digital detox, it's not practical. You have to come back to computers. You have to come back to TVs. You have to come back to your mobile phones. So recreating your environment and rules for digital devices is probably a little bit more practical than actually completely digitally detoxing. So for that reason, it's in the valuable category. Exercise, easily legendary. I think there's a study that's been done that says it's almost 50% more powerful than pharmaceutical drugs on your mood. So does it work? Absolutely. Is it quick? Absolutely. You can go to the gym and immediately be feeling better. Is it accessible? Yeah, everyone can do it. And there's so many ways to do it, whether it's sport or dancing or going to the gym, so many ways to do exercise easily in the legendary category. Reframing and perception work. Honestly, guys, this is my favorite. It's the ability to be able to look at something that's bad and to reframe it as a positive, to be able to see the blessing within the crisis, or as Tony Robbins says, to be able to recognize how life is happening for us and not to us through that situation. This is a very, very powerful technique for some. I would say it works very quickly because you can easily be able to see the benefit to a negative situation. But I would have to say that it's not accessible to everyone. From my clients, I've noticed that a lot of clients really resonate with this type of work, but a lot of clients just they find it very difficult to find the positive in something because their brains are just emotionally geared towards the negative. So even though it's my favorite, it would have to go in the transformative category, which means that it's really good, but not legendary. Number 4 is breath work. Now, everyone's going to hate me for this, but it's easily basic. I think it's so overhyped. What it essentially does is it changes the way that you feel. So for that reason, it's very, very powerful. But does it actually get to the root cause and help you deal with your self-sabotaging patterns in life, which is the way that it's usually marketed to? Absolutely not, because it doesn't address any of those things. So is it accessible? Absolutely. A lot of people can do it. Is it powerful? On one end because it helps you with your mood, but not on the other end because it doesn't actually transform you. And is it quick? Yeah, for sure. So I'd have to put this on the basic category because it's a little bit overhyped. Gratitude, legendary. And I would say legendary because is it powerful? Absolutely. And it's legendary because it's a life-changing habit that shifts your focus to positivity and abundance. It's accessible. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it at any time. It's very, very powerful, and it really helps you. It's almost like it puts you into a spiritual perspective, and it works very, very quickly. And I think even if you're not into personal development, everyone can agree that gratitude is a very beautiful thing to practice. And for that reason, I would easily put it in the legendary category. So let's go. Next is shadow work or parts work. Now, shadow work and parts work is the practice of recognizing that we have different parts of us. Some parts of us we like, they're good, maybe they're productive, maybe some are successful, maybe some are hardworking, but we have some parts of us that we don't like. Maybe some of the parts of us are lazy, maybe the parts of us are dishonest, and shadow work or parts work is the ability to be able to work with these different parts of us so we can stop sabotaging ourselves, because sabotage happens when one part of us wants one thing and another part of us wants another thing. So shadow work or parts work is the ability to be able to work with the parts that you don't show anyone or you're not proud of. And I will say for me, easily the most transformative thing that I've ever experienced in my life. It helps you understand the deeper layers of your psyche, and it helps you work on them. It trains you to understand yourself without judgment or shame. It's transformative, but not for everyone, as it's intense. And if you're not into personal development, you're probably not going to be interested in it unless something really wrong happens and you absolutely need it. So for that reason, even though it's one of my favorites, probably is my favorite, it's in the transformative category and it doesn't make it to legendary. All right, now cold showers. Quick. Does it work quickly? Yes, absolutely. Is it very powerful? Absolutely. But is it transformative? I would say if you do it consistently over a long period of time, it's going to make you feel good, but is it going to get to your root level behaviors and change your subconscious patterns and self-sabotaging patterns? Absolutely not. So I would say that it's valuable, but doesn't make it any higher than that. Number 8 is therapy. So let's see, am I going to get a lot of heat for this? So therapy can be genuinely life-changing. In fact, I've had a therapist many times in my life and they're genuinely life-changing. But honestly, many people have had bad experiences with therapists, and a lot of therapists are stuck in old ways. They don't explore different modalities or different ways of doing things. And a lot of people, just overwhelming evidence of people going there and talking for years about the same thing and not getting any results, because often it doesn't go deep enough onto some of the emotional layers because some of the modalities just don't. So for this reason, the fact that it can be very valuable, but a lot of the times it's not, I'd have to put therapy in the valuable category. So I'm going to get a lot of heat for that, but it is what it is. Number 9, consuming self-help content. I would easily put this in the basic category. It's a great start when you're into personal development, you're trying to improve your life, but it can very quickly work against you, because if you keep consuming without taking action, you will feel a deep sense of incongruence in your life and you'll actually start to beat yourself up, right? And you can easily fall into a cycle of passive learning without actually having real change. So that goes into basic. NLP hypnosis, another thing that I'm going to get into a lot of trouble for. NLP and hypnosis is very showy, so it looks like almost like it's a magician's trick, but it definitely doesn't address the root causes of why something happened in the first place. And if you want to truly change something from a deep unconscious level, NLP doesn't do it. Many people go through it only to have the same challenges repeated. I've had a lot of people do timeline therapy, which is one of the main interventions for NLP, and they're exactly the same. So sorry about that, but it is what it is. So NLP and hypnosis, it's mostly about state change as well. It doesn't actually cause lasting transformation. So in my practice, I still use NLP techniques to calm someone's state, to raise someone's state, but it's not a transformational practice. It's just a great tool. 11 is visualization and manifestation. Absolutely overhyped. It can work if done consistently, but most people use it as an excuse to avoid doing the hard work. Why do you think The Secret became so famous? It's because it is glamorizing the idea that you can look at something, want it so bad, and just by wanting it so bad, you can just have that thing. But what they left out of The Secret is it requires action. Of course, wanting something allows you to move towards something and be hungrier about it, but I think a lot of people use the idea of manifestation and visualization to bypass their fear of taking the action and doing the work that's required. So for this reason, I would say it also doesn't address any self-sabotaging behaviors. Most of the reasons why people don't have their life, health, wealth, or relationships that they want is because they have sabotaging parts. Like I mentioned, they have one part that wants to do this, but another part that's pulling them in a different direction. And if they don't address that, which manifestation does not do at all, then they're not going to get what they want. So for that reason, I put manifestation in the basic category. Supportive community. Huge difference when you're surrounded by the right people. It can give you encouragement and support during tough times, but honestly, it's very hard to find the right community. And for that reason, I mean, it can be a game changer, but for that reason, I would say that it's probably in the transformative category. It doesn't make it to legendary. Journaling helps organize your thoughts, gives you a bird's eye view of your life. I use it all the time, clarifies my mind, helps me think clearly, but it's not always transformative, but very useful for self-awareness and clarity. And I think some people work really well with journaling, and some people just cannot get anything done with it, cannot find a success in it, or cannot find it useful at all. So for that reason, I would say that it goes into the valuable category, even though I use it all the time. 14, I would say inner child work. Now, inner child work works on the deepest layer of your psyche, and healing core trauma can dissolve multiple self-sabotaging patterns, and it can help you show up more authentically in your life. However, many avoid it because it actually feels too weird, right? So unless you've tried a lot of different things and you really want a transformation in your life and nothing's working, usually those are the type of people who go towards inner child work because they've heard a lot of good things about it. But think about a lot of the people who just want to change in their life. They're not going to initially approach inner child work, and it seems a little bit too weird. So I don't think it's very accessible or approachable to people. And for that reason, I'll put it in the transformative category, but not the legendary. Goal setting. This one is interesting. Goal setting gives direction, but success isn't guaranteed by having goals. And the best way to prove this to you is I know so many business owners who are super successful, but they don't actually set goals. They just kind of they have the general direction of, where to go, and they follow that general direction, but they don't actually sit down and write down goals and put down their deadlines. So I would actually have to say that goals belongs in the valuable category, because writing something down does give you some sense of direction and give you a momentum, but it is not the defining factor of success, because so many people are successful without putting goals down. Okay. Number 16, value aligned deep work. Easily legendary. Now, if you look at every single personal development guru or speaker, they will always say, I'm successful because of these habits. I'm successful because of meditation. I'm successful because I write my goals down. Here's the funny thing. So many of them say that they're successful because of this one thing that they promise by, but have you noticed how so many of them say different things? It just shows you that it's not the thing that they're talking about. So if it's not the thing that they're talking about, what is in common with successful people? And the only thing that is common for every single person is the fact that they do something in their highest values. If it's Alex Hormozy, he does something in business. If it's Tony Robbins, he does something when it's got to do with psychology. So they know what their highest value is, and they work in that area, and they take action in that area. And if you do action on what you truly love, that will always light you up more than any other activity out there. So for that reason, easily legendary. Accepting and letting go. Now, accepting and letting go is always talked about, and I think it's theoretically perfect, and it brings a lot of clarity to life. But I think it's extremely hard to implement practically, because it involves surrendering control and your expectations. Like, really think about it. Just accept it. Just let go. It doesn't work. It's not so easy to do. There are ways to accept and let go, but not by focusing on accepting and letting go. Focusing on different things, which if you want some help on that, or you want questions, or you want answers around that, let me know and I can help you. But for this reason, it's valuable, it makes a lot of sense, and it's probably the right thing, but it's very impractical to do. I would actually say that goes in the valuable category. Number 18, meditation. Powerful practice for mental clarity and focus, and probably one of the most studied practices, and there is so much science behind it, but it's extremely hard to implement on a consistent basis for so many people. And the proof is so many people say, I have to meditate, but I don't do it. And for that reason, I would have to say it's in the transformative character category, but not the legendary one. Now, 19, facing fears with action. Now, every single person that I know who has overcome public speaking, social anxiety, people pleasing, have only ever done it with facing fears by taking action. Public speaking person does it 100 times, they're no longer scared. People pleasing person forces themselves to be assertive with action, does it 100 times, is no longer scared. Does it work? Absolutely. Is it fast? Absolutely. Is it accessible for every single person? Absolutely. But of course, the price tag is it's scary to do because it's related to your fear. But for those three categories, I would easily say that it goes into the legendary category. Now, Number 20 is motivational videos. Easy to access, gives you a good feeling quickly, but ultimately screws you by fostering dependency and external motivation without action. Because if you train yourself to have a good feeling when you watch something, it stops you from having to work on that thing to get the good feeling that you get from accomplishing that thing. So watching motivational videos all the time give you a temporary high, but condition you into feeling that life has to be easy before it's hard, and that is the wrong way to go about success. And for that reason, motivational videos, you're in the trash section. Workshops and seminars. Man, I would say can be transformative depending on the teacher, but there's so many gurus out there that don't offer practical value and so many people that are unhappy with seminars and workshops. And for that reason, I would say that it's in the valuable category. It's good for temporary inspiration, but long-term impact depends on application. There you go. There's the definitive list to personal development practices. Let's go.